welcome back to Spiritual Sparks. We're totally gonna act like this isn't like take 16.
Yes.
Anyways, hello.
We have a special friend.
We sure do. I'm sure you guys can tell it's not the usual crowd around here, but we have somebody new. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Victoria.
My name's Victoria. I'm sorry. Anyway, so we have a guest. This is our first guest.
Yes. Isn't
We're
that
so
so
I can't
exciting?
believe I'm your first guest. Like, I'm
Yes.
so honored.
But before we get to our icebreaker, I wanted
Yes.
you to kind of just like introduce yourself. Just like a couple of like questions.
Like, tell
for
us
example.
3 facts about you.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like,
Just so we get to know
what do you want to
Now-
study? What do you like?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
What's your
Victoria's-
hobby?
Victoria's in college, yeah.
And she
Yeah.
likes sneakers. But
Oh, yeah.
I love
let her
sneakers.
say, you know, her part. What do you want?
I'm going to study psychology for now, but I might change.
Okay.
Why? Do you
Maybe.
not feel confident?
I mean,
no, we didn't.
I'm
I
just
feel
trying.
confident. I feel confident, but like I just don't know if that's what I actually want to do.
Okay.
and,
Okay,
like,
that makes sense.
if I'm gonna like it, because like being a therapist is really hard. Like,
I get that.
you have to listen to all these things, and you have to
Mhm.
like try to not make it affect you. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
That
true.
makes
Yeah.
I also feel like a lot of people kind of get this misconception of you're gonna go into your like therapist and then come out knowing what's wrong with you or like what
Yeah.
you can fix, and it's not. Like, it takes a lot of therapy sessions
Yeah.
for you to figure
Yeah.
out, and it's mostly just you figuring out
On your own.
exactly like
Because
what's wrong with you.
technically, like, just talking it out, you kind of
Mhm.
like.
Yeah.
But you should be a therapist. I don't know.
I do kind of want to be a therapist because, like, I like the idea of helping people understand, like, their emotions.
Mhm.
And, like, I feel like I'm good at understanding that stuff. Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah. If you
Like-
feel like it's your calling or
I
like
feel
what
like
you're
I'm
meant to
good at
do.
giving advice
Yeah.
on certain things.
Honestly, that's a good start.
If you feel it, you should go for it.
Yeah, I would say what I always recommend is kind of take a look at what fields like what classes you have to take, and then
Yeah.
see what other thing you can take just in case, just like to have a plan B.
Yeah, or maybe consider other jobs or consider other careers that like include the same things but in different shapes or forms.
Yeah.
And then maybe you can find something that isn't
Mhm.
necessarily being a therapist.
You can do a lot with a business
Yeah.
degree, apparently.
You can.
So-
Okay.
Okay.
So now it is time for our icebreaker. Icebreaker.
Okay, we actually have good icebreaker questions.
Yes.
Okay. Would you rather be
Neither.
Adam?
Sorry.
Would you rather be Adam and name the animals or Noah and build the ark?
Adam
Okay.
and name the animals.
Okay.
Cool.
Is there any
ark-
depth to that or
Building an ark is a lot of work.
Okay.
That is true. But also think about it. Like, you can't. What if you name an animal like twice, and then all of those like scientific like names for
Oh,
them?
yeah, you're right.
So
What are
it's
you talking
like
about?
I didn't even think about that.
like you like would name them, and then because I feel like I would just name them like something and then forget, and then name a monkey
Yeah.
another thing, like the
Yeah.
same thing.
No.
Like, my brain capacity for like names is not there.
Okay.
So it's like I would hold
I
like
feel
5
like-
and then repeat the same one.
I feel like with help from the Lord, I can make it
That's
happen.
true. I feel like the Lord
Yeah,
would
that's
be
what
like,
I was
"Hello?"
thinking.
That you already
thing
used
1,
that
thing
one.
2,
Mhm.
thing 3, thing 4.
True.
So yeah, I'm gonna keep my answer.
That's true.
Okay, next question. Would you rather have been present at the birth of Jesus or present at the crucifixion of Jesus?
Birth.
Oh, birth. Absolutely
Birth,
not.
100%.
But what about like? Okay, no, you're right.
What?
Wait, you
I
know what I
cry
heard?
at the Passion of Christ. I'm not going through that again.
I'd
In
probably,
person?
I'd
No.
probably cry at both.
It's so upsetting.
Honestly,
like-
no. Because it's a
No?
birth.
But like well, I don't know if they knew, but this is like the savior. This is like
I mean, they know.
exactly. So how are you not gonna cry? Like this baby that was just born.
I mean,
let me tell you
I'll
something, let me tell
do
you
like a couple tears, but it's not the same
Yeah,
as watching
it's
him
not-
die on the cross.
You're not gonna
You're right,
cry
you're
of
right.
sadness.
But I'm gonna cry like because okay, let me tell you something. The Chosen, I love The Chosen, even though I know it's not based on like all Bible, but I love The Chosen because the mom, like, there's this one episode where the mom is like, I don't know what I was expecting. Like, I was expecting a perfect child, but at the end of the day, he was a baby and he needed my help.
Yeah.
And so, like, this baby was supposed to grow up and be like, and die for her, for literally the mom, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's crazy to think about it because, like, it's a baby that's helpless, that's crying, that's cold, and you're the only one that can help it. And then, but also, it's gonna grow up and die for your sins and literally save your life.
I think this is the same thing of because we were talking before, and Julieta was like, I just don't understand how the brothers of like Christ didn't believe that he was Christ, and I was like, yeah, because they grew up with him.
Yes.
Like if you had a sibling and you like grew up with
She
him,
does have a sibling.
Oh right,
but she's the youngest. So wait,
I'm tired of it.
She's
Anyways,
the youngest.
but whenever your like, imagine your siblings are like, hey, you know, I'm Christ. What? Where?
Exactly.
I changed your diapers. You're not Christ, but you know that's
because you've
weird.
seen them like.
You've seen them in their weirdest, like most human, like
exactly.
Yeah, no, I would not have wanted to build that ark. I'm just like thinking back.
Yeah.
Anyways, so today we're gonna discuss some topics. Our favorite here is the controversial ones. So like cancel culture. So I wanted to ask you some questions. Some very, very.
Wait, before we start with the questions, I want to ask you, how would you describe cancel culture?
Oh yeah.
Like in your own words, what is cancel culture?
Okay, here's the thing. Like when I think of cancel culture, I just think of like all those randoms on the internet that try to cancel people that are famous for stuff that they did like for like years and years and years ago.
True. Yeah.
So like I guess cancel culture to me is purposely digging up stuff from the past to
like
use against
malintent.
To use against someone in the future. Well, not future, like present. And then like trying to take away their like platform and their like job.
Okay.
That's true.
That's a good
boredom.
That makes sense.
I would describe it like that too. Because
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like whenever a celebrity gets canceled or like whoever gets canceled, it's not like more so what they did. It's what people can dig up and people can make up about them.
People interpret it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, first question. So, how do you think social media has influenced the rise of like cancel culture?
I feel like, well, a few years ago, I think it was more prominent and like people were doing it more and like supporting it more. But I feel like now, because I've seen a lot of people talking on TikTok about like how cancel culture needs to be stopped and how like it's stupid, because it is stupid.
It is. It is.
So
we were talking about it the other day that it was a mob mentality.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. Like 1 second you love this person and they're like on this pedestal, and then like someone says one bad thing about them, and
now
like,
you're on the other.
Yeah, oh, now I hate you.
But I feel like social media makes it so much easier. Well, social media makes everything easier.
It does.
Yeah.
Especially
so cancel
bullying.
culture, like exactly. I feel like we can put cancel culture in the category of bullying.
Yes.
Because maybe it's not necessarily like a person that did something wrong. It's just people that misinterpret it, or like, well, sometimes it is wrong. Sometimes we do wrong stuff, but I feel like we give so much into it that really it's not worth the attention that it gets, you know?
Yeah.
But because of social media, people like twist it and like to make it more like you have to hate them, you have to unfollow them, you have to do this, you have to do that.
That's true.
Yeah.
There was recently, I don't know if, I think the most recently one that I remember is it what happened like just the Met Gala? I always get them confused.
What happened at the
Met Gala was
The
the most
Met
recent
Gala
one.
Are
just
you talking
happened.
about the which one are you talking about?
That one girl that dressed up, she's an influencer. She's a TikToker, but she was dressed in like her like flower dressed up. Dress was really pretty because the theme was the gardens of time, and she was dressed really pretty. And everyone was supporting her 1 minute, and then the next second she posted a TikTok with the Marie Antoinette thing where it was like let them eat cake, and everyone just crushed her because that's what Marie Antoinette said to like whenever there was like a lot of poor people would ask her like, you know, what are you gonna do about this social crisis, like this financial crisis? Marie Antoinette said let them eat cake, and it was like sarcasm.
I thought that was from like a TV show or something.
No, that's something that Marie Antoinette actually said.
Cake.
But that's a popular saying. Like, no, it's a popular like
sound.
TikTok
Yeah,
audio.
that's the thing. So it's like it's kind of like it's very hard because
there's no way people were just jealous. There's
so that's what I'm saying. So I get that she used I can kind of understand from both sides because I get that she used a popular TikTok sound and she didn't even think about the thing about it. But
if you see all the other people under that sound, do they have as much hate as she does?
I think the problem is the people are looking at it from the perspective of like, oh, you're this big influencer and you get to go to this this like big
Right.
Met Gala, and people are starting to think of these events as like, you guys are still having these, and there's like poverty, and there's people in crisis, and people can barely afford to pay food and gas, and
the ticket is like 75,000.
That's a lot of money.
But that is a lot of money.
That leads into a next question, which is, how does cancel culture impact public figures compared to private individuals? So that would be like, if she does the sound, if she uses the sound, let them eat cake, compared to someone who is like, has like 20 followers, like what's the difference, you know?
I think that the person that has 20 followers is obviously not going to get hate like that person.
Right.
And even if they do, it's not going to be nearly as much.
Exactly.
And like, they're not going to be affected as much.
The tickets are 75,000, and then the entire table is 350,000. I get both sides.
It's not worth hating over, you know.
It's not. I don't think it's worth like canceling her over. I think the thing that really like accelerated it was kind of her response, because she was like, first of all, I didn't really get invited to the Met Gala. Like, he designed this for me. Like, the designer and I are friends, blah 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 blah, and like, you know, I didn't get invited. Like, it's a lot of money to get invited. So instead of kind of like taking accountability, wow, and kind of like explaining why she used that TikTok sound, I think she was just, it seemed like she was rubbing it in people's faces that she was able to like get a dress designer,
like something that didn't have to do anything with the problem.
Yeah,
the problem was that she used a sound, but instead of addressing that she used the wrong sound and like kind of like admitted to it and like saying sorry or whatever. Exactly, which makes no sense because it has nothing to do.
It doesn't. Yeah.
I just like, I haven't seen the video that you guys are talking about, so I
haven't seen the video either.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, so I'm going based off of like what your guys are telling me. But personally, I feel like she shouldn't like be in trouble for it, you know?
Yeah.
Because look at all the other celebrities that go and they get like applauded for going.
That's what I really don't understand, because I feel like, kind of, why are you
I think it's because
canceling her and not everyone else?
Like, she's not at their level. She's like
just a TikTok
it's like
influencer.
a spectrum. Like, you have like normal people, and then like social media people, and then
like actors and stuff.
And like actual celebrities, and like she's closer to like the actual celebrities than we are, and people are jealous of that.
And while you were talking, I was thinking, I just bought my bag. I was thinking about because somebody else got canceled during the Met Gala, and it was was it Camila Cabello? She had like an ice purse, and it was like a block of ice with a flower, and it cost like, I think, $1 million or something.
I haven't seen it.
It was expensive. It was expensive, and it was a bag.
I haven't seen it
because I love showing people this, and this is crazy. See, it's $22,500.
If it was actual ice, that would be dumb.
Yeah,
like, there's no way.
But see, no, it wasn't actually, like, it was just like it was like a fake thing. It wasn't actual ice, but people canceled her because it's like you're spending money on purses. But we done this all the time? Yeah,
everyone spends money on whatever they like.
It's like saying don't spend money on art. It's kind of dumb. Like, and we all just kind of sit around, and it's like a break from.
I feel like people who say things like that, it stems from jealousy because they can't do it.
I think so too.
Okay.
Because I mean, there's no valid reason.
So, okay, how can we approach this? How can we approach cancel culture and have opinions about it, and have like. Yeah, how can we have opinions about it as Christians? How can we approach it as Christians? How can we get ourselves and avoid cancel culture in the world we live in now? Because it's so common in social media. How can we, like...
I feel like it's also kind of common in like, our religion.
Yeah, I would agree. Because
like,
we don't call it cancel culture, but we definitely call it, like, we even joke about it. Like, if you do something, though, you'll get erased from church or something.
Like, if you wear a certain thing, like, you're done for.
You do a certain thing.
Yeah.
You don't agree with certain thing.
Okay.
You're, like, erased. We joke about it. You don't really get erased like that.
Yeah. But they talk about you and they view you differently.
Exactly.
And they stop inviting you to certain things.
So you're, like, ostracized? Ostracized. Thank you. I was never gonna get that. Okay. So yeah.
How can we, like, approach it from, like, a Christian point of view?
Well, okay. When you think of God, do you think of God and the church, or do you think of just God? Because personally, for me, whenever I'm trying to have a relationship with God, it's just wanting and trying to have a relationship with God. Like church is kind of like a secondary. It's a place that I go to see friends and family and my brothers and sisters in Christ. Like I come here to listen to a message, whatever. But my relationship, what matters to me is my relationship with God. So on this podcast, we always say, like we want to kind of take a step back from church, like from a denomination, and kind of just focus on God, because I think that's where a lot of the mistake comes, because no church is ever going to be perfect for you, because the people aren't perfect. So that's, I think the way that we view it is like, okay, this certain person thinks about me this way, why do I care? I have my friends, you know? So it's not like my friends know the truth, I know the truth, I know who I am, you don't know who I am, you just wanted to make like falsehoods of me, and I don't believe that, and I know that in my heart that it's not true. So I think we already deal with it, or if not, I think people just kind of go out there, which is a problem, looking for another church. But like I said, no church is ever going to be perfect, so you're gonna be looking and looking and looking until you eventually don't find it and just get mad at God. Sorry. I've seen it a lot. That's like
I don't know what to say.
What she said was so real though.
Yeah, it's just I've seen it a lot from a lot of like my friends, and I've noticed that every church that I go to, there's always like, oh, where's that person? He doesn't come to church anymore. What happened? It's like, oh, they go to another church. I was like, oh, okay, I wonder what happened. And then like a week later, you find out that it's because people were talking stuff about that person. They got upset. They left church.
Okay, how can we help the church? Well, we can't really help the church. I think we can just pray.
The adults
but
at church are so set in their ways sometimes that like they just will not listen.
Yeah, I think that's a problem. I could see it because I always kind of want to see it from both sides. So I see why the adults are the way that they are. Yeah, because imagine like kind of like having this thought on life and then having to change your entire perspective for this new generation. That's hard because I grew up with it. I mean, respectfully, we're Hispanic. I don't know whose parents, disciplined them in a physical way, but I mean those principles have been like beat onto them essentially. Yeah, we'll move on. But so I think it's really hard to get rid of those principles, but we're not really asking you to get rid of those principles. You can still say what to say, but kind of think of how you can understand us, this new generation, trying to figure out what they believe and who is God to them and what can they do for God. Like they're just trying to figure out their journey in this life with God. It doesn't have to be your specific journey, because we're not you.
I think we're all trying to figure out a journey. Yeah. And like how you said, the church and God are very different, because sometimes we think, oh, God, like the people from the church should be good because God is good. Yeah. But the people aren't always a great reflection of God. Yeah. And so I think that instead of leaving church, instead of like rejecting church, instead of like doing all this stuff, I think we should like work together to become a community that like instead of basing like our lives trying to like be like see the differences and pick out the differences, I think we should all work together to like try to understand each other. Even if some people like leave, even if like whatever happens, I think that we become so focused on like what this person said about me or what people are talking about me, and so that we focus so much on that like we end up leaving the church. But we have to understand that everyone's like walk with God is different. So maybe you're young and you might your relationship with God might be farther or shorter than the person who's at church criticizing you. Yeah. And so like you're on a different, like they might think that because, okay, look, I'm gonna put an example because I don't want to keep yapping it up. Let me show you something. I went to SeaWorld.
She's so funny. Story. She goes on a tangent and then she's like, okay, this is how I'm going to explain it. I went to SeaWorld. And I asked the worker. No, I didn't ask the worker. I'm not gonna lie. Wow. But my friends were waiting for me at the beginning of the line, and so I started skipping people. Excuse me. But that's crazy. Once I got to this lady, and she stopped me. She said, "You're not crossing me because I have people in the front too, but I'm not going." And I said, well, you don't have to wait in line. You can go on with them. And so I'm going to stop right there. She believed
that it was socially wrong for me to skip her and go with my friends, right? But I believed it wasn't socially wrong. And so I think it's the same way with the church. I think that sometimes we're skipping the line because we think that it's socially correct. We don't see anything wrong with it. But the people that have experience, the people that think differently, the people that have different like perspectives and lifestyles, they look at it and they're like, that's socially incorrect. I don't like you doing that. And so this lady made me stay behind her the whole time.
And you listened?
No, because I tried to get close to her, but she was blocking me. At the end of the day, I went up with my friends. But what I'm trying to say is,
why are you stopping me from getting to my friends? Okay.
No, literally.
I ended up going with my friends. But what I'm trying to say is, we have different perspectives. Everyone has a different walk with God. Everyone has a different experience that has shaped them the way they are. And so maybe also another thing I want to mention is generational. I'm sorry. I want to make it right because sometimes like I feel like we sit here and we're just hating like on the church. We're like, oh no, because this one said this and the old people think this way, which is correct. Everyone here is correct, you know?
I feel like we don't really hate on it.
No,
we
I'm
just
sorry.
Kind of
your opinion on it. And it's
like,
true.
I
because
feel like whenever we talk about it, it's kind of like it can be seen as hate, and I know it can be seen as
it's not
frustration,
hate.
but it's more like we understand where you're coming from, but this is where we're coming from, and we're not
right.
changing.
And that makes sense. That's good because then everyone gets, this is what we're doing. We're building a community because when we talk about it, they try to understand us and then they talk about it and we try to understand them. Does that make sense? But I don't want to like, you guys are haters. I don't want to do that.
I'm not a hater.
I forgot what I was going to say. I forgot what I was going to say.
Before or after SeaWorld?
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay, wait. Okay, generational
wealth?
No. Generational, like you get stuff from your parents. And so let's say that you're wearing a short skirt and an elderly person comes up to you and says, you don't belong in this church because you're wearing that skirt. Not that it's happened to me, not anything.
She feels triggered. It's okay.
This is
speak your truth.
This is like a how do I put this? A scenario. This is a scenario. So someone is not hating. I have to stop saying that. Someone is judging you for wearing a type of clothes, for speaking a type of way, or for saying something that might be incorrect in their eyes. Correct? But maybe it's because they have like background that has shaped them to when they look at you, they feel some type of way in your shoes.
Yeah.
And they're trying to like reverse time and like make it right.
I feel like I also want to say something. I feel like a lot of it has to do with like, oh my God, what's the thing? Like
What?
Like right time. Like there's a time and a place for everything.
Yeah.
And like I feel like a lot of people that go to church don't really keep that in mind, and they just kind of go however, and they don't like respect. You know?
I agree. Like you also don't have to be dressed like, you know, like if you are, I always say this, like if you're new and I haven't seen you before and, you know, like you're dressed a certain way, then fine, you know, because everyone has like a start of their journey. But if it's like a couple of like maybe years or maybe months out and you're still dressing the same way, then I mean, I'm obviously gonna approach you, which is something that all church members should do. Approach
look out
you
for each other.
Exactly, like approach you like, hey, you know, we have some clothes that we can like give you, because what if you're wearing the same clothes and you just don't have access to clothes? That happens whenever you just arrive from Cuba.
I think what you're trying to say is like instead of judging each other, we should help each other.
Well,
and that's what I think the overall message is. I think cancel culture is something that
she's so funny. Right? Victoria, do you have anything else to say?
Wait.
I feel
cancel culture. Hold on.
Julieta, let Victoria talk.
Wait, I have something really important to say.
You've had 15 minutes. Just grab one of these mics and just
hold on. I'll be quick. Cancel culture is something that happens in communities and on social media. But instead of judging and being like, this person said something a year ago and I'm going to hate on them for it and I'm going to send death letters to the house, I think we can help them be like,
death letters.
You were okay. No.
Death letters?
You were talking about the Met Gala, right?
Yes.
What's her name?
I don't know which one.
Okay, it doesn't matter. The TikToker.
The one with the flowers? The one with the flowers. The TikToker.
Okay, the TikToker.
I don't remember her name. I never said her name.
I forgot.
Anyways, Victoria, do you have anything else to say? Pause on that one while you think.
I I feel like
Okay.
No.
Wait, I have to say this.
I feel like
The TikToker.
Pause.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Julieta,
I'm sorry. I'm
wait,
sorry. I'm
like-
sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
my cheeks hurt. Okay. I
Mhm.
feel like your mannerisms have to be how do I say this? Like, you have to have certain mannerisms, like, when you do certain things, and that involves church. And, like, a lot of people, like, they just don't, like, fit in. But, like, they don't try to fit in. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Like, let's say someone new comes here, and, like, they don't try to, like, get into, like, the events and talk to, like, the holiness or whatever.
Just come and go.
Yeah, and also, like, they don't dress appropriately because it's not about us. Like, it's about how you look in front of the Lord in His house.
That's
you know?
true.
But I think
Like to
that
have
maybe
respect.
they don't. Maybe
Yeah.
you don't see that.
Respect.
Like, for the longest time, I didn't see anything wrong with my sin, and so I just kept repeating it and repeating it. Maybe not my. Well, no, my sin. Everyone's sin. Maybe at that time of your sin, you don't see anything wrong with it. It's like you're blindsided.
Yeah.
And so maybe if we put in the situation of someone who comes to church and dresses a certain way for over a year, they don't see anything wrong with it. And so, like you said, we have to, like, let them know. We shouldn't kick them out. This is why you shouldn't wear this. This is why you shouldn't wear this. This is why you should dress this way. This is why you should talk this way. But not in a way that we're like lecturing them, but in a way out of love. And so that takes time, because you can't just come up to someone and be like, because I love you, that skirt you shouldn't wear to church. Like, I feel like you have to get to know the person.
Yeah.
And so
I think there's people that handle that, don't they? Like, you don't have to, like, you don't have to do it. I think there's people in, like, the committee of the junta that, like, can do that. That's like, hey, you know, we've seen and we just want to talk to you.
I feel like some of the adults here, they try to do that, but it comes off as, like, judgy.
A little bit.
Like, passive aggressive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you've never had
It's
anybody
hard.
call you out on
Exactly.
your
And
style, then
and, like,
it's really
usually
hard.
a person that barely knows you. It's
No.
usually a person that never talks to you. Like, you
That's
only
true.
say hi to them. Like,
I think that could be viewed as well from inside of, like, for example, like, children who were raised in the church. Like, sometimes they want to be rebellious and dress a certain way and, like, not care about church stuff, but their parents still force them to come here because they want them to be that same child that they were when they were little. And they can,
I feel like forcing them is not the way to go.
it's not, because they end up getting more rebellious.
Yeah.
I feel
And
like
then, like, when they grow up, they're not going to want to have anything to do with it at all.
Yes.
That's the problem, too.
it's really hard. It's really hard to approach it in different ways.
I think that it should be someone who's close to you.
Yeah, but at the same
agree.
time, like, just lecturing someone who doesn't see something wrong with what they're doing is hard
Yeah.
overall. So cancel culture is hard to deal with, because now we're not looking at it as cancel culture outside of me. Cancel culture doesn't have anything to do with me, but we're, like, placing it in, like, church-wise, and we're saying, well, this is how cancel culture affects me in my church.
Yeah, that's true.
And so it's hard to approach. It's hard. I don't even know. How do I think
I don't really think you
it's
can.
really all just God. What else can you do but pray for that person?
There's really
Yeah.
nothing truly that you could do. It's difficult. I mean, there's multiple things that you could do for the church, for a movement that you think should be started. Like, if you really do believe in this, then you can go up to your pastor, or you can go up to somebody and be like, hey, I think that this is a problem, and I would like for either you to have a sermon about it, or I would like to do something on my own time, you know, gather some ladies and then kind of have train them so they can have that conversation with people
And
who
I
don't
feel
know.
like if we're doing it in the right place, with our hearts in the right place, and with the Lord, like, with us, I think that no matter how, like, if we let the Lord, like, speak through us and do it the right way, then whoever leaves is gonna leave. But we have to learn how to do it out of love, and we have to place ourselves in both our shoes. So someone who's judging, and someone who's not. Well, someone who's cancel culturing. And
The way that you're saying cancel culturing, I think you could just leave it at canceling.
You're right. I didn't think of that. Okay. I think we can look at it as someone who's canceling and someone who's being
He's gonna
canceled.
be like, you guys are haters.
So both perspectives are important.
I mean,
Yeah. So I like how what you both said.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I like what everyone said.
Yeah.
But so to end it on like kind of like a less tense note, I do want to
that was really that got hard.
Yeah, but I think cancel
It
culture
needs
is just
to
the
be
thing
said,
that
and we need to talk about it because
Yeah.
if we don't talk about it, like
Mhm.
it's just gonna stay unsaid.
No one really
And some
talks
things
about it.
needed to be said. And so like you guys coming on here and opening about that, it's important. But I feel like instead of just addressing
for
the
having me.
problem, instead of just addressing the problem, we have to address the solution. You Vanessa has been on my back. She's been on my back.
just a little bit. It's just funny. Okay. So, just to end it, I'm just going to ask like 2 questions on our next topic, which is just briefly like kind of like a positive perspective. Because I know that you wanted to talk about it.
To wrap up cancel culture, we're going to talk about
Kind of like the solutions.
the solutions because we need to address the solutions.
Yeah.
We can't just talk about the problem. We rambled about the problem, but now we need
Yeah.
to talk about the solution.
I'm sorry.
Why don't you guys
Anyways,
talk about it?
So now that Julieta is done rambling.
I'm sorry. Lead us out.
Victoria, what do you think could be a solution to...
Close off the
Well,
topic.
what you said about talking to your pastor and just like, I guess like opening up about the topic more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like bringing it up more.
Yeah, because I don't think people know. Like, you can
Yeah.
make sermon requests to your pastor. It's not like, I mean, he
You
comes up with
can?
stuff. Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes, you can make, like, you could talk to your pastor and be like, hey,
I'm not
I've been
surprised,
dealing with
though.
this. Could you please? That's why a lot of pastors, like, you hear, like, big drama going on, and then the next
Yeah.
week, like, they're discussing about it. It's like, I hear some of you brothers and sisters have been criticizing the church and, you know, stuff like that. How do you kind of fix cancel culture? It's just kind of one of those things where you can't really fix the issue.
Yeah, 'cause
you can
can't
kind
change
of
people's
mend it.
minds.
Exactly. Like, you could just kind of like start to like nurture the problem to
Yeah.
That
see if maybe it
involves-
subsides.
Yeah, that involves God.
Yeah.
And so we need to invite God into our problems and our canceling
Period.
and being canceled.
And that is the message. So moving
Yeah.
on to our next topic, I wanted to discuss a little bit of a positive perspective because, you know, I just don't want to end this on like a bad note.
negative note. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
today we were at the Popka church, and the pastor told the story about this guy who his wife has left him, his kids has left him, even the dog left him, and yeah, and he went to a bridge and he was gonna jump, and then a police officer stopped him and he was like, okay, so let's walk around the bridge, and if you still want to do it, then I'll like let you do it. That's fine.
Okay.
They walked around, they talked a little bit, and then at the end, when they were back to point 1, they both jumped. So he was
What?
like, yeah. So the preacher was like, I don't want to end it on that note, you know, because that's a sad note. So and we were all like, what?
I was not expecting that.
I thought you were
Yeah.
gonna say that he like
He saved them? Yeah, no. Sometimes talking isn't really the best thing. Just kind of listening is better.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But that's why positive perspective on life can like really help, because
I
if you
think-
don't,
No, let
Yeah.
me tell you
like,
something.
what was that
I-
police officer going through?
I think that the best way.
Hold on. Let me tell you something.
Stop
Oh
talking.
my goodness.
Oh, sorry. I'm not supposed to tap on the table. Let me tell you something.
Ding, 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 ding.
Sometimes it's hard to have a positive perspective when you're in a place of unhopelessness.
Yeah.
And I think it's happened to me a lot of time where
Yeah.
I found myself where I'm in a moment and I feel like my life is falling apart. I know my life is not falling apart, but I feel like my life is falling apart.
Yeah.
And how can I wake up the next day and say, I'm going to have a positive perspective today? It's hard to do that. And so how do we do that?
What I was gonna say, it goes with what you just said. I
Yeah.
think that the most important thing to always remember is that nothing lasts forever, which means your hard times are not gonna last forever. Like
Yeah.
That's your positive perspective.
That's
actually
really
good.
hard to remember
Like,
in hard
I
times.
know,
Yeah, it
I
is.
know, but like you just kind of have to hang in there
Mhm.
and like just think like this is temporary.
Yeah.
This
Isn't
is
there
all
a saying for that?
temporary.
It's like half glass, like the glass
Like-
half full and the
Yeah,
glass
like-
half empty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you have to think of whatever little thing you can possibly enjoy and stick with it. Like
During the hard times.
Yeah.
a lot of people, like I saw this on an Instagram reel, but like
Why are you? You seem like you don't want to share it.
No,
She's
it's
like,
not-
I'm so sorry.
it's not weird. It's just like it's just
Uh-huh.
kind of random.
Mhm.
But like this girl, she like make a. Oh my god, she made a video.
It's just, I'm sorry, I was staring because the way that you said girl, this girl,
she's having
like
such a hard time, like talking about it.
She made a video about like she gets to Starbucks every single day, and people are like, "Why do you waste all that money on Starbucks?" And she's like, "It's one of the only things that like keeps me happy and keeps me going. Like I look forward.
Get your Starbucks.
Exactly. Like do what makes you happy, as long as it's not hurting other people. If it's hurting other people, you need therapy.
Yeah.
But like
exactly.
No, but that's really
exactly
good. And I really like how you said that.
And in a couple years, come get Victoria.
And also like everything happens for a reason.
Come get Victoria's one.
She will be a therapist.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you want to be a therapist? This is good.
In theater, we call that a recall.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. So, anyways, so yes, no, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did you do theater? Did you do theater?
Did
theater?
Did you do theater?
Yes, did you do theater?
Wait, were you a theater kid?
I feel like you're always talking about it.
Oh, wait. No. Okay, no, I was a choir kid. I was a choir kid. Yeah, it's different than theater kids, but I do act like a theater kid for some reason.
Yeah, you kind of do.
Yeah.
I like
you
theater.
But I was a
theater
choir
kid
thing
vibes.
because I love musicals. It's like my biggest, like my favorite is Phantom of the Opera.
I haven't seen that one actually.
It's so good. Or
Okay, guys, I don't understand anything you're saying. So.
they're just musicals. Why are you like this?
Phantom of the Opera, what is that?
It's just this guy who like as a kid. No, it's just like as a kid, he wasn't really treated the best and he had like a scar in his face, so they
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about now.
So he's really ashamed of his scar and he doesn't have any parents because he's an orphan.
Nothing.
He just used Wonder, and
Wonder the movie. The kid that's
no.
Okay.
So he had like has this scar. He puts this like mask on, which is like half of his face, and then he just goes by Phantom and lives in like the opera. And then there's this girl named Christine. She also doesn't have parents, and she thinks that the Phantom is this angel that talks to her and that her dad sent to her. And so then he's talking to her and she's talking to him, and he thinks that that's his angel.
Wait, in real life?
No.
What?
This is a musical.
No, I know, but like in their real life, they're talking to each other face to face, or like through a phone.
She thinks that he's an angel. He knows who she is, but like she
so
thinks that he's an angel because he doesn't want to show her his face because
This
it's
is so
disfigured.
confusing.
I don't even. So, anyways, Phantom is in love with her. She not in love with the Phantom because he's an angel, and then she falls in love with somebody else, and then the Phantom gets mad.
This whole these are two humans in the thing
In the musical,
that believe
not real.
that believe that are seeing each other face to face.
They're not seeing each other face to face. They've never seen each other face to face.
So
Christine, the girl, doesn't know who the Phantom is.
What?
She thinks it's an angel.
He knows who she is.
He knows who she is. He can see her because he has like all these
and
contraptions.
she's blind.
She doesn't. She hears him. He sings to her.
But I thought they were seeing each other
And
face to
he
face.
got mad for her falling in love with someone else.
Exactly.
No, I don't get it.
Thinks
Do they talk to each other through a window?
Oh.
Yeah, like it's like it's like hearing. Like he sings to her. I can hear you, but I can't see you. So it's like
it would be like
angel.
me in another room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially. He's behind the walls. He's built this whole entire world like behind the walls of the opera. So he's been living there for his entire life since he was a kid.
So he lives between walls, and then he falls in love with a girl, and the girl believes that she's an angel. So then
that he's an angel, yes.
Okay.
this is ridiculous.
That sounds like a good movie.
No,
Bro,
this
what do you
sounds
mean,
awful.
It's pretty good though.
He lives between walls, and she believes that he's an angel. So then they fall in love. Like,
Yeah.
The movie that you saw
No,
with
they
the-
don't fall in
with the-
love.
don't bring that up.
Julieta, you cannot follow a script to save your life.
Okay.
What is that?
Can we move on? Like, why are we still talking about it?
Okay, yeah, let's move on.
Anyways, positive perspective. I am
Yeah.
not a theater kid, but I am a choir kid. That's where we came from.
I
Yeah.
just realized we're talking about positive perspective.
This
Why
is
did
like
we just-
loops and loops and loops. Anyway, so how do you have a positive perspective on life, Victoria? How? She's gonna be thinking about this later all day.
No.
Okay, well, my life isn't bad, so it is easier for me to have a positive perspective. But for the times where like things are not going the way that I want them to go, or like if I'm like sad or depressed about something, like the thing that I think about constantly is like, this is all temporary. Like for example, like, let's say I wake up today and I'm sad. And, like, I know that it's temporary and that it's going to go away. So I just, like, do whatever I can to make it go away. You know what I mean? Like, I talk to whoever I need to talk to. I watch whatever I need to watch. Like, I eat whatever I need to eat. Like,
that's really crazy because I just cry in silence and get over it. I know that's so weird, but like
I'm not a crier.
No, I
like,
cry.
I only cry if there's an actual situation to cry about. But like sometimes I'm just sad for no reason.
Mine is like to blow off steam. Like it's so weird because sometimes I
just get it
schedule
out.
a cry when I haven't had it in a while.
Really?
Because I'm like, I need to get this off my chest.
I used to make myself cry all the time, like last year.
Guys,
I was always upset.
It's not a therapy session that's needed. It's God. And
I think I think that's actually so healthy. Like,
but crying to God, yeah.
I don't think that you should let yourself, because nowadays on social media I've seen a lot of people are like, let yourself be mad and let yourself be in your depression pit and let yourself, like, I think they're like rotting something, like bed rotting. What is that? They just stay in bed all day. That's crazy.
Bad.
I know that some people just completely lack the motivation to get up.
I just feel like people find comfort in their sadness and in their like hopelessness.
Yeah.
And they don't try to get back up. They just
drown
feel like
very easily in your sadness.
I don't know how to help those people.
me neither.
I get that.
Because they're stuck in their ways, you know?
That's true.
Like, they don't want to get better. You can't help someone who doesn't
let me
want
tell you
to get
something.
better.
I would just kind of
tell you something.
Okay.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Girl,
that was so scary, literally. No, I would just, to those people, I would just kind of like bed rotting and stuff. I would just say, hey, respectfully, get off social media because it's not helping you. Bed rotting is not
worse.
exactly.
It does.
Bed rotting is not something that's good for you in any capacity. And like you having a depression pit, I'm so sorry that you're in that situation.
You have to get back
up.
And you have to make an effort to get back up.
Something like
I'm like giving advice. They're just talking over. They're tired.
My bad.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm tired, Grandpa.
I'm not laughing.
Oh wow.
You good? Your lips just disappeared. Are you good? Put them back.
Put them back.
Okay, stop.
Okay. Anyways, this reminds me of like people being insecure about seeing other people on social media.
Yeah.
And like, I think that a way to get over that is like, you have to think that you have your insecurities. They do too.
No.
No, look.
No, when I feel insecure,
Mike, that I could just
wait a second. That was like a jump scare.
Yeah, I was so confused. He's like, no.
No, I don't agree with that. Did you read that?
Yeah, our producer just said that we've been at it for like an hour.
No, let me tell you something.
What he doesn't know is that we've been trying to shut off Julieta's mic for like an hour.
Let me finish. Okay. Let me tell you something. Okay.
Now everyone's saying, let me tell you.
Go ahead, Victor.
So you need to remember, just like you have your insecurities, they have theirs too. And you could be looking at like what you think is the most beautiful person in the world. They have their insecurities.
I definitely agree with what you said, that people thinking that celebrities have it all good and all great is like you're looking at it from a perspective of somebody else.
Yeah.
And I honestly think this is exactly why the internet and social media in general is not good, because we're not supposed to know all of this stuff.
Wait, can I say something? Something about the celebrities? I think that they have it worse than you think. Because okay, like for example, TikTokers and people who work in like social media, they don't have a job or anywhere that they need to go to every day to socialize with other people.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time they're like secluded from others, and that's not good.
That's true.
For you. And also like the hate comments.
And when they have friends, they're probably not even real friends.
Yeah. Imagine being alone all the time and dealing with hate comments too at the same time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, yeah, you're getting all this money and brand deals and all these trips, but like your mental health is at stake. And like there's a price for everything. And, like, I feel like when you're famous, the price is your mental health.
Yeah. I think that's the point that a lot of people forget. There's
and
a price
sometimes
for
your
everything.
physical health, too. Because, like, these models, like, a lot of them, like, feel like they have to lose weight. A lot of them do have to lose weight to keep, like, the look.
Yeah.
Like, I heard the Victoria's Secret models constantly had to, like, be eating stuff and taking stuff to, like, look a certain way. And, like, keeping up with that is hard.
Yeah, they were constantly medicated.
Yeah, that's not healthy.
It's not.
And, like, the plastic surgery and, like, you know Anna Cathcart from To All the Boys I Loved Before, Kitty?
Yeah.
She got bullied into fixing her teeth.
Oh.
Like, you remember how she had, like, these gaps?
Like in the first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there were so many hate comments.
Yeah,
I saw
but she
a
looked
video.
like a child. She was like a child.
The Asian girl?
Yeah, but, like, that's just how her face, that's just how her teeth are. And, like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just how they are. And, like, she got, I forgot what they're called. Veneers. She got veneers.
Aren't veneers bad for you, too?
I think so.
If done incorrectly, I think, is, like, they could do.
But, like, the fact that she did that because of what all these people were saying, or maybe it wasn't because of all them. Maybe, like, producers made her do it. But, like, that's, like, that just doesn't sit right with me because it made her unique. And it didn't even look bad. But I saw a video on TikTok of this person being like, oh, if her teeth aren't fixed by the next season, I'm not watching.
Oh.
And I was like, oh.
So how can we have a positive
That's really
perspective?
crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've changed from positive perspective to, like, good mental health.
You're right.
Yeah.
To, like, healthy mental health.
But I feel like positive perspective has everything to do with mental health.
That's true.
Because, like, how you view people in the world really affects how you view yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, how you feel.
So,
but I think that if you're, like, you're sure and secure of who you are, which is what God tells you, then you shouldn't care about, like, people who
Yeah, but
criticize
that's not going to happen because, like, look at where we live. Like, look at the world that we live in. No one is going to be 100% fully secure within themselves.
I agree. Well, but it takes time for you to get there, and even still, some things can waver.
Okay, no, you're right.
And
okay,
also,
no, you're
like,
right. It's not like I'm always.
If you are secure fully, something is definitely going to happen to, like.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
If you're, like, fully secure, which I'm not saying it's impossible, but
it's pretty rare.
There's constantly going to be
it's
trials.
Extremely
it's
rare.
Pretty rare.
Like, there's going to be something that's going to make you question that, you know?
Okay,
like,
you're so
eventually
right.
at some point in your life.
To close, I definitely like what you said, that I think a lot of it has to do with this generation and social media and the way that we live nowadays. A lot of our opinions are based on other people's opinions, and that could just kind of like snowfall into things. So a positive perspective on life kind of means separating yourself from social media and from other people's opinions, and kind of like holding on to God as best as you can. Even if you waver a little bit, he still would accept you into his arms. So kind of like taking a step away and focusing only and solely on him, and finding solitude and in only his voice could help with that. Because if you don't, and you let yourself be distracted by other thing and worldly things like social media, or just like other people's opinions in person too, like your friends can make you like depressed if they're depressed. Like a lot of people have influence on you. So I think kind of looking to God and just relying on him individually and blocking out all the rest of the noise is where you would be able to kind of get away from the worldly thing and focus on yourself and be healthier overall.
I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
You said that really well.
Thank you.
You hit that up.
Thank you. Sometimes I can speak. It's just not often.
When she lets you.
Exactly. Oh,
wow.
I love the bullying here. It's just a little bit. It's just a little bit.
It's only because we love her.
You said that really well. I really like how you said that.
Thank you.
So it's all about like not distracting yourself, but like taking yourself out of the place where you're being wrongly influenced, and finding like, because I was saying like you were saying it takes time to be secure in God, right? And so like that means taking yourself out of the places that influence you to think a way about yourself, and so taking a step back from social media, and like excluding yourself from friend groups that bring you bad, or like certain thoughts is good. But that includes God as well, because you're not going to go anywhere if you don't include God in that moment of isolation and solitude to understand and like become secure in who you are, so that when you do come back to the society, when you do come back to talking to people, you aren't like as easily wavered or like
kind of like fortify your relationship with God.
Exactly, so that you're sure of who you are, and so when people test you, you know who you are, and you know where you stand, and you know that God's on your side, and so that no matter what happens.
What do you think, Victoria?
I agree with both of you.
I love that. She's like, you did it. You did that.
you guys hit that up.
Anyways, so thank you for tuning in to this episode of Spiritual Sparks. And thank you, Victoria, for being here.
Thank you, Victoria. We loved having you.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Of course.
Bye.